Hi, Dave Likes, L. David Likes Photography, determining color cast. Sunny days are a challenge for portrait photographers. This is especially true when there is not a cloud in the sky. You have direct sun from one direction and blue sky from the other. Now, the month of May, it's 5 p.m. and very sunny outside. And here is sun coming through my patio blinds. And you see it's green up at the top and blue down at the bottom. And the reason for this is because I have blue sky bouncing down into the lower portion of the blinds and sun bouncing off of green grass going up into the top. Take a better look. Here's a bird's eye view of sun bouncing off the green grass into the top of the blinds. And I have this mannequin head here. You can see that has green being bounced into it. Bird's eye view of light coming and hitting the bottom of the blinds is this blue sky. So I lowered the mannequin head, and you can see it's catching more of a blue light on the face than the previous picture of it. Portraiture, skin tones need to be reproduced correctly. Inside against off-white walls, it's easy to see a color cast. But once outside, it is much harder to tell color casts. And fixing color cast later in Photoshop is time consuming, so we don't really want to do that. We want to catch it before it happens and correct for it. As you know, if we have a color cast and we just hit the auto white balance tool in our editing software, we don't quite get the correct color. This back wall is got a little pinkish to it where it's off white, so it's not right. A trick I discovered to see the color cast more easily is to use an Expo Disc in an unusual way. In other words, Expo Disc usually is for getting your exposure and checking your white balance, but I'm using it a little bit differently. And here is the Expo Disc. The procedure I'm using to determine the color cast using the Expo Disc is first, you set your camera's white balance to the sunny day setting. You set your camera to any program mode and then cover the lens with the Expo Disc pointed at the light falling on your subject. After taking a picture, look at the LCD image and verify that it should be a neutral gray in color. So here I have a setting of back of my 5D Mark III, and I've set it to the sunny balance. It's in the sunny white balance setting, and it's in aperture priority program mode. Okay, so I put the Expo Disc on the front, and I point it high at the light coming through the top of the blinds. And typically, if you have no cast in the lighting, you should get a neutral gray look on the back of the LCD. But in this case, we do not have gray, we have green, which indicates a green cast, which is that green grass bouncing, or the sun bouncing off green grass up in the top end of the blinds. To show how the color cast changes, I took a second picture where, well, this time I pointed camera low with the Expo Disc and took a picture, as you see here. Okay, and voila, we got a different color. What we got here is we got a blue cast. Look on the back of the LCD. Again, we got a different color cast. Blue sky on my face. Next morning, I noticed I had a blue sky day, so I wanted to show how the blue sky on my face will appear. I pointed the camera and Expo Disc towards the sky, and my camera's LCD, sure enough, showed blue. So I got a blue cast, obviously. And so I did two different pictures. One without flash and one with flash. And on the camera left, you can see the picture taken with only ambient light, no flash. And as you look closely, you can see that I have blue up here on my forehead and down around my neck area of my face. And if you look really close at my gray shirt, even on the far side, I have a little green cast in that. It was being bounced in there. So what I did in the second picture is I added off-camera flash, 2 stops over the ambient, and as you can see here, it cleared up that blue cast in my face. So I overpowered the ambient light with flash. So color correcting would be difficult. As you can see, the ambient light only picture, the ambient picture, there is a blue cast on the left side of my face. And since the color is not the same on both sides of the face, it would take work in Photoshop to remove it. And here is the setup showing the flash on the ambient side of the camera. So on the side that the blue cast is coming from, I put the flash on that side to overpower it. Another method you can use to determine if you have a possible color cast problem is to look in the direction of your main light source. And if you see blue sky, it's a telltale sign that you will be getting a blue cast. That's, if you don't have, Expo Disc, you can just figure that you look up the light source, and if it's blue, well, that's blue sky. You're gonna get blue. So one of the things you want to do is block overhead light when you have a blue sky. I like using open shade to create the correct lighting angle for portraits. But just being in the shade does not protect from the open blue sky. As you can see here, under this tree, subject isn't exactly under the tree, but is in the shade, but is in you get all this blue light that's going to be coming into the shade. So you really want to totally block direct overhead light. How we do that? By moving the subject under the tree, which more blocks the direct overhead light. Then you can add flash for a main light and won't have any problem with blue color cast. And here's an example of moving the subject more under the tree. And it's not showing adding a flash here, but then you would add flash. Example of not totally blocking open sky, and this is one of my examples that I learned the hard way, and that is, as you can see here, I actually did a picture of 10 people, but this is just my setup, because here's the chairs, and this little girl's in the shade of the tree, but she's not under the tree. And see, then you got all this blue sky coming into the shade. Okay? Even with flash, a blue color had to be removed from the parent's hair when I did these parents in the same location. And even though I added flash from the left, okay, but I had blue sky on the right, and as you can see here, the flash killed any blue light on the left, but on the shadow side of the face, it got into the hair. So I actually had to correct this problem in Photoshop by desaturating the hair, both the mom and the dad's hair, in Photoshop to compensate for that. Possible fixes in the future: totally block overhead light when adding flash, and add flash on the same side as the blue sky to overpower it. See, that's the one thing I didn't do, is I added flash on the wrong side. I should add it on the blue sky side, and that's one of the lessons I taught myself. So takeaways: sunny days are a challenge for portrait photography, especially when blue skies are involved. Reflective color casts need to be identified and corrected at the time of the exposure, saving computer time later. Looking at the direction of the main light source and its color will help you determine if you have a color cast problem. And to fix, block all overhead light and add flash 2 stops over to overpower any color cast involved. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'm Dave, L. David Likes Photography. Bye-bye.